I I think hello by the way. I think people fail to recognize their own progress, me included. People fail to recognize how much progress they've made and how far they've actually come. They don't see unless they put side to side um, the road that they have walked. Imagine like in a weight loss, like I'm subscribed to one community which is talking about weight loss, and it's called Progress Pics on Reddit. And people very often say in the title of the weight loss comparison that they don't feel any different. That, for example, they begin the journey at one way, then they are after like X amount of months or amount of years at like they have a completely different body. Like they could even have lost up to like half of their previous weight. So they like literally shrunk in half, and they can't even like they feel the same. They feel as though they're still in that body. And the thing is, I feel like for me this year, because it's like past middle of the month of May, at times I feel like I'm still in that body that I was in that state, in that mental state I was in, like in January. I feel like I'm back in that state and in that mental place that I was in. I don't, and I'm like abruptly pushed back in there, and I'm asking myself, but why is that old thing triggered again? You've progressed. No, not like I'm a completely new person, but I'm changing, you know. And I think even like looking at my own videos, every video I'm changing, and not only physically, but spiritually, emotionally, intellectually, mentally, physically, I'm changing. My health is changing, my voice is changing, my demeanor is changing, my confidence in myself is changing, my like internal, that level of conviction is changing, the level of how I'm engaging with people is changing. Like, I mean, a lot of things are changing. And it's not just the summer, and it's not just, the good place or the bad place mentally, although it is, yeah. But at times, I think, and that's why I've sat down to record, I feel like failure to recognize the progress is my number one thing. Like, I've literally did so much this year, did so much work, but in my mind I did nothing sometimes, can't explain. Like, I've literally like did so much output, and I've progressed so much, and I've practiced so much, and I've walked so many kilometers of this road already, even though I haven't reached the finish line, of course, and I haven't even come close to the finish line neither. But at times I it all feels like it's just the beginning. It all feels like nothing has happened. It all feels like nothing has changed. It all feels like I'm the same body, the same person, the same way of thinking, the same thing, And I'm just sitting my knees here, and I'm wondering how come you know, that I've failed to see. How come that I've failed to notice, Like, I think in life sometimes it happens that you do become someone different, and you literally become someone different, and you hardly notice. You hardly notice. You hardly notice until you see like a photo of yourself, or you see a video of yourself, or you see someone whom you haven't seen for a long time, and that person is like, but who are you now? You've changed. And you're like, have I? And they're like, yeah, you've changed. You've like, you're someone else now. You're like, I can't tell what's changing. It is your I don't know, something inside you, but so something is changing, you know. And I think, yeah, something is definitely changing, and there is some progress being made. And I don't know, I was in such a dark place, especially April and the first 2 weeks of May. Now I'm kind of slowly getting out of it, hopefully. Like, but I was in such a dark place that I don't know, like I felt like I was in a pit and there was no progress at all. Everything I've done doesn't matter. Everything I've written doesn't matter. Everything I worked for doesn't matter. Everything I walked, like every person I met, every conversation I had, every time I overcame myself, every time I put myself in a state to overcome what I was in, it doesn't matter. Like, it's just, yeah, at times I'm in a state where there is no progress. There is no fucking progress. And I know it's not true, but, and that's why I'm sitting here and I'm like, no, it's me to, like, me from the future. I'm like, you look at yourself and you'll see the progress. You look at yourself right now, at me right now, and you'll see what changed. You look at yourself, how you were, and how you spoke, and how you thought, and how you moved, and how you presented yourself, and you see what has changed. Like, you will see. And that's why I'm doing this. Not even like to listen to myself for hours and hours and stuff, but to just see what actually changed and see who I was and see what I thought about and to notice my progress and to notice what happened. But yeah, so in terms of writing, but this is basically for me. But I am now at the moment where I'm getting out of that bit of, like, you know, depression or however you want to call it, of that place where I sincerely thought there is nothing happening, there is nothing that will ever happen, you will achieve nothing, you can hope for nothing, nothing, you know, like, this all just a black hole and you're being sucked in. And yeah, I somehow am out of that place now, but I'm not yet in a state where I can continue at the same pace. I'm not yet at a state where I have the same energy. I'm not yet at a state where, you know, like, I will, I think, dedicate the coming months to research around the querying process and, like, to forming the list of the literary agents that could be interested in my work. I think I will, you know, I will do that. I've already started, by the way. I've already, like, filtered out some agents. I've already started looking at the profiles. I've already started looking at the query letters, the, like, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, it's basically the process for trying to get traditionally published in English. You have literary agents whom you query to, meaning you apply, you do like an application with your, like, first chapters and your query letter and sample of your work, basically. So sometimes not even a sample, but, like, mostly it's a sample of what you've written. It's a sample of your work, and you know, and you hope for the best, essentially. If nobody responds to you or you get rejected, it's one result. You know, if someone requests, like, full manuscripts, it's great. Like, it means elation. Great. And if, you know, but to maximize your chances, you've got to find people who would be interested in what you are doing, obviously, in the same way that you would find companies that are interested in the job you want to, you know, that are hiring for the job you want to perform and for the job you you are capable of, right? So basically, I'm in this process of, like, research and preparation. I've only just started to kind of to filter who is interested, like, who might be interested, how to position myself. I'm a complete, like, I'm, you know, And I'm planning to dedicate the summer, I think, to preparing myself to, like, and getting back to a state where I can regularly write, and getting back to a state where I can, edit and get my manuscript to a state, to a level where I can, query people with it. And I've recently listened to a podcast where she was saying, half your goals. So basically, meaning like, not half your goals, but half the time you want to spend on achieving your goal. I agree. That's not, sometimes those things happen much faster when your state changes. Sometimes those things happen much faster when you believe in yourself. Sometimes you just make it happen. Like you're in a state where you just attract things and you make things happen. And I feel like I'm not yet in that creative state. And because of this depressive period, I'm farther away than I would like to be from that state. But, but I'm not planning to stop. That's the, and I'm not planning to stop my progress, and I'm not planning to stop moving forward. And I will never stop moving. Like, regardless of how many depressive episodes I have, like, coming, regardless of what happens, because I was in such a dark place that I was even, like, I can't explain to you. I literally, there was a moment, like, relatively recently, where I felt like, I don't know, I didn't even know how I was going to work the next week or something. Like, I couldn't even, like, I felt like I had to like switch my mind and my body onto, like it was basically, I don't even know like what metaphor to give you, but it was something like constantly turning over, like the plate or something turning over, and you have to like turn it on again, turning over and turning on again. So I felt like my state was like I was constantly like, no, and then up again, no, and then up again. But yeah, but I feel like failure to notice the progress, the thought of which I began with, a failure to see how far you've come, failure to see how much you've created and how much you've practiced and how much you've learned and how much you worked, and just the failure to, you know, to see that you are actually on the path.